Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video on the MediaByte channel. So today I just want to try to just jump in to this topic because there's a lot to discuss about this kind of very overarching topic that I think is rather fascinating. What makes a film a classic? Now that question can be kind of deciphered and you can come at that question from multiple different angles. So first, it's the test of time. What has stood the test of time? The Godfather has stood the test of time. Jaws has stood the test of time. The French Connection takes the test of time and keeps it. You know, we have all these films that do that. Wizard of Oz does that. The other thing that you can look at is genre specific what makes a classic. So that is what I think is very interesting. Your genre specific classics are different than what everyone would consider a classic film. So classics, right? Citizen Kane, Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, The Sound of Music, Jaws, Indiana Jones, all these Star Wars, right? You have all these films. Those are the ones everyone thinks about immediately without question, right? That is one thing. Those are classics and nobody can ever take that away from them. Like Jaws posters, I have one. Right? Like Indiana Jones stuff. I have a bunch of Indiana Jones stuff. Star Wars. I have a bunch of Star Wars stuff, right? Everything. Horror movies. If you asked a horror movie fan about a classic film, they'd probably have a whole different kind of array of classic films that no one else would really consider being classic without thinking about it. I got like Halloween, The Blair Witch Project, Black Christmas, The Changeling, The Exorcist, House, Reanimator, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and that's just some of the ones that came off the top of my head. There's a bunch, right? And there's many that I'm missing that I wish I had changed. Chucky, I mean, we can do this forever. Hellraiser, we can keep moving, right? But that's only for somebody who really likes horror movies. Somebody who's never seen a horror movie isn't gonna know Sleepaway Camp is a classic horror movie, right? That is what I think is really interesting. So I kind of broke down a little bit like what the different genres are and what is kind of designed for them in their genre to be considered a classic. So with horror movies, it usually ends on a down note, on a lower note, or an ambiguous ending. So like think like Halloween or The Thing. Like Halloween, he's not there at the end, right? The Thing, which one of them is infected? Is either one of them still infected? Who knows? The Shining is also like one of those ambiguous endings where like what happens? What does it mean? Why is this the way things are? If for a family film, the film needs to be funny, but have a meaning and kind of a plot, very easy, simple plot to understand. And the most important thing about a family film is it needs to be funny for everyone. That is, I think, the major difference. Something like Cars is gonna stick with you if you're an adult and a kid because you'll enjoy it throughout the whole periods of your life. Something like a Plane or Wings or something like that is not going to stick with you throughout your whole life because it's very childish. You need a family film that's funny to everyone, and those are what's considered classics. Monsters Inc., WALL-E. WALL-E's about like environmentalist things, right? Toy Story is about connection and taking care of people. Cars is about finding yourself and living through your mistakes. Those themes apply to adults almost more than they do kids half the time, but kids just see car running around and winning the race. In a drama film, the most important thing, to be honest, is that the ending feels appropriate to the themes of the film. So not cutting out on the ending of the film. And so what I mean by that is not giving them a false positive ending or a false negative ending. If the characters have all done and taken actions that would lead them to be killed, if they don't die at the end of the movie, then you've messed up because you've given them plot armor. And that is part of the issue with, a lot of drama films. But I don't know if drama is what you would classify The Godfather, but let's just look at that as an example, right? If James Caan's character doesn't die in The Godfather, or, and everyone else that's a part of that team, they have plot armor. Because why would they not, some of them not get shot and murdered? Like, and of course, you have the bigger issues like The Godfather, he dies, but why does that not affect the overall plot? And that is a right way for the film to be going, if that makes sense. That's the way the film should end, and that's the way it does end. It's the logical ending to the film. The directing, acting, writing, and scoring all have to be very, very good, but what's interesting is one of those can kind of fall and it's still be considered very, very good. Like, you can have kind of like elevating circumstances, but I almost feel like you can't have good acting and bad scoring that are the same like acting and writing have to be kind of like this, right? Or like this, right? Like, you can't have one, like, you can't have bad acting and bad writing because that makes a bad movie. But you can have good acting and bad writing because good actors will take the bad writing and amplify it. And the other way around. Bad actors, good writing, you can sometimes get away with it, right? So here's another very interesting topic about that. Kind of separate, but in the same vein. The classics can also be bad, which is fascinating to me. The classics can be bad. They can be so bad they're good. They can be schlocky, right? We're talking horror movies here for a second. Low-grade horror can be some of the best. It just depends on who's watching. I love Pieces. I love Sleepaway Camp. I like, a lot of films like that. They're not great films, but I love them because of the swings. A lot of the time, I think, is really what does it. The swings of the movie. I like the third Return of the Living Dead film, the third one. I love that movie. The original, I like that movie. I don't know if that's really considered schlocky as much, but I like those movies. Those are classics in my book, but they're not great, like, great acting, great score, great writing, great directing all the time in all those movies, right? But they're still classics in my book, 100%. And that is what I think is interesting. What are classics if they're not personal, I think is almost the word. We have the ones that are like, labeled forever, and I think that is what it is. I think the movies that stand the test of time are the ones that everyone considers classics, but I think classics are almost personal when it comes to every other film besides like The Godfather or Jaws or Citizen Kane, right? The personal to you. What is a classic film in your life? Let me know down in the comments below, because classics are a very interesting idea. I never really put, before writing this video, I never really put much thought into what a classic film is and what the way it fits into the way we view movies now. So let me know down in the comments below what you consider a classic, and follow us everywhere, Media by Co, Media by Company. It's on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky is mediabyte.bsky.social. We have a Patreon account, and you can follow all that stuff in the links down below. And leave comments. Let me know what you think about classics. Let me know what you think about the film, or about this whole video, I guess I should say. And so thank you, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.